With that, I'd like to hand it over to Alan McCafferty. I believe you don't have slides, right? Yeah, so I got that. So if you could have the hands back. Super. Now I'll hand the microphone to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's still morning, so good morning. Bonjour. Elder Prudhomme, thank you for your words this morning. Sandra, thank you for inviting me. And Guy, yeah, thanks for reaching out. Tough audience, you guys. Inclusive. I'm an engineer. I'm just an engineer. That's all I am. I'm going to give you a bit of a story and some applications of what we do. And really, my point of view today is about analytics and innovation, and how do you tie analytics and innovation together? One of the things that you often hear about is, why is one organization highly innovative and we're not? Why do they seem to get it right and we don't? Why can't we seem to get this thing done? And that's what I want to talk to you a little bit about. And I'm going to do that through a couple of stories. But I'm going to start with a little bit of my background. Like I said, I'm an engineer. I went to school for mechanical engineering. Not here. I went to the other university, the other end of the canal, and Algonquin, and a whole bunch of other universities. If you ever want to have your children not know how to do school, tell them to speak to me, okay? I went to every university you could think of. But anyway, I ended up doing a type of engineering called integrated logistics support engineering. And that engineering is primarily, it's a very new field of engineering. When I say new, it's less than 40 years old. And it's primarily done for the military. And I did integrated logistics support engineering for the Naval, for Army, and primarily, and I didn't do Air Force. And what it is we predict the future. ILS engineers are all about predicting the future. We need to keep a ship in service, keep operational in service for 50 years. And what do you do? And technology changes. Think how much technology has changed in the last decade. Imagine starting a program today and you have to keep it operational for 50 years. You have to train people, you have to redocument, you have to change everything. Everything changes through that period of time. And I'll give you a couple of little examples. One example is that I did this for the Navy, and we predicted and where was going to happen with the Navy. Where do you keep all your parts? Where do you do all your training? And then Afghanistan comes along, and we're deployed in Afghanistan. And I was moved from the naval program to counter IED. And we were given 12 weeks to develop a counter IED for the Canadian forces and deploy it in Afghanistan. That was our job. Nothing exists. We need to protect our troops, get it out quickly. So we did that. And then I moved from that one and I moved to tactical vehicles. And so we were working on a proposal, and it was an interesting thing one day. I'm sitting in a room with former military people, bright minds, lots of engineers, and they're going around the room. And they're saying, here's what we need to do with this new vehicle. Here's the things we need to monitor. Here's all the challenges we're going to have. And they went around the entire room, and they came back to the chairman, and the chairman made an entire list of all the equipment that we would have to design and develop for these new tactical vehicles. And being new to the team, I put my hand up, and you get that look, the new guy and the ILS engineer, really? And they said, what's up? And I said, but it's all been done. Why are we designing it? And they said, well, no, it hasn't been done. We have to do it. Look at all the people in the room. And it's like, no, it's all been done. It's called the mining industry. And if you'd ever worked in the mining industry, you would have seen all that monitoring equipment. And what it showed me, that you can quite easily, when it comes to innovation, if everybody is on the same page, you can quite easily get groupthink that goes on. And in that moment, I challenged the status quo. And so I took all of that analytics experience that I had working for the military, and I went out into private industry. Whole other story how I ended up there. But what we've done, and so I have a small boutique consulting firm, and we do analytics, corporate intelligence, and data and evidence-based strategic planning. That's significantly different than what we saw in the industry out there. And one of the things that we do is we go through and how does a team become highly innovative? And we have an innovation scale that goes from 0 to 100. And at 0, we call it highly dictatorial. And at 100, we call them highly innovative. And we can create a team. We can stand up a team in any organization. And we've done it with indigenous communities. We've done it with federal departments. We've done it at provincial levels. We've done it with large corporations. We've done it with small corporations. We've done it with startups right across the board. And we've used analytics to stand up teams to create evidence-based strategic planning and strategies to enable them to move forward and overcome challenges with innovations that they had never thought of on their own. And so we created this model, and the model really has two major components. The first component is the makeup of the group, and we call it a 30-30-10 model. 30% of your group comes from your senior management and your manager. These are your leaders. These are the people that have the vision of the organization, and they're going forward with that. 30% of your group and your team, when you're standing up your team, comes from your operations people. And these are the people that are driving the operations. They're doing the work day to day. And then 30% of the people come from what we call complementary guests or support and services. And if you think about it, these are the people, and this is always the first challenge that we have with these groups. These are the people that we have to say, we need to ask your customers, your vendors, your suppliers to be in the room when we do this strat planning. And at first, they're very hesitant. Well, I don't want to let any company secrets out. And the answer is, once you get over that hurdle, you're not. So now you have 30, 30, and 30. The 10 is important. The 10 is my experience when I was in that room. The 10% are the independents. The 10% of the people are the people that challenge the status quo. Those are the ones that do that. Again, it's a matching organization. When we did work in healthcare, we brought people in, the independents, from financial services. And why did we do that? Because inevitably, you always get the person that puts their hand up and says, yeah, we tried that. We tried that in our field and it didn't work, and here's the reason why. Oh. And it's that challenging of the status quo that really drove the team forward. So remember I told you we had a scale from 0 to 100? And if I did 30, 30, 30, and 10, does that get me to 100? No, it doesn't. From an innovation scale, that puts you between 50 and 70%, or 50 and 70. If you want to drive that last little bit, and this is what we found through experience, is that you need to look at the cognitive diversity of the group and measure the cognitive diversity of the group. And it's in the cognitive diversity that you really get that next level of innovation. And you get the next level of solution to those challenges that are unforeseen. And how do we capture all of this? We capture this through visual harvesting. And we visually harvest the solution. And we do that because people can picture what a solution looks like in 3 years. And if you get the right people in the room with the right model, you can create an innovative solution very quickly. And I'll leave you with one thought. How many people have a smartphone in their pocket today or brought with them? Everyone, pretty much everyone in the room. How many user guides did you read? None. One person read a user guide. And the moral of the story is, Smartphones have moved from text to visual. Visual harvesting allows you to see things that you've never seen before because it allows you to create complex answer or gives you answers to very complex solutions. And so, long and the short, analytics can drive innovation, but it can drive it through the group dynamics, cognitive diversity, and visual harvesting. Thank you. Merci et miigwech.
Thank you very much, Alan. Really appreciate. Yeah, I brought my own mic this time. Thank you. And we're getting quite some examples of what people are doing. Eh? It's very cool. So, Pauline, while I speak, would you mind coming up? There's a mic here.